Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Winternationals. It's time for Funny Car Qualifying Session number 2. Up first, number 25 qualifier, Thunder in the near lane. Thunder came off the track around at 210. Not what he was looking for. Right now, number 16 is Jim Epler with a 178.7. Can Thunder get in the show? Absolutely he can. A 174.5 for Thunder. Thunder up to the number 11 spot, knocking Robert Height to the bump. This is 178.2. Our first actual pair. Now number 25 qualifier, Tommy Johnson Jr. in the far lane. 24, Tony Bartone in the near lane. And it's going to be Bartone, a 185.1. 208.9 for Tommy Johnson Jr. Tommy Johnson Jr. stays number 25. Tony Bartone only up to number 23 spot. Our next pair, Bob Gilbertson, now number 24 qualifier in the left lane. 22 qualifier, Matt Hagan in the near lane. Robert Height still on the bump. 180 with a 1 for Gilbertson and a 180 with a 6 for Robert Height. Or for Matt Hagan, my bad. Gilbertson goes back up to number 22. Hagan goes up to 23. Our next pair, we have Frank Pedragon in the far lane, Jimmy Pedragon in the near lane. 20 and 21 qualifiers. Frank Pedragon, 178 flat. Jimmy Pedragon, a 175.5. That'll knock Robert Height out. So will Frank's. Oh, no. Yeah, so will Frank's. We'll see what happens. Jimmy Pedragon up to number 12. Frank Pedragon only up to number 17. Ricardo now on the bump with 177.5, and that's why. Our next pair, number 21 qualifier, Courtney Forrest in the far lane. Number 20 qualifier, Del Worsham in the near lane. 177.5 for Del Worsham and a 179.1 for Courtney Forrest. Del Worsham with the number 17. Courtney Forrest stays number 21. Our next pair, we have Jim Epler, number 20 in the far lane. Robert Height, number 19 in the near lane. Scoop Ricardo still on the bump with a 177.5. Can either get back in. How about a 176.2 for Robert Height and a 176.3 for Jim Epler? Robert Height goes number 12. Jim Epler goes number 13. Tony Pedragon now on the bump with a 176.5. Our next pair, we're going to have number 18 qualifier now. Scoop Ricardo on the far lane. Number 17 qualifier, John Force in the near lane. Can they get back in? 176.5 for John Force, a 177 flat for Scoop Ricardo. John Force will stay 17th. Ricardo will stay 18th. Tony Pedragon, number 16 qualifier in the far lane. Dale Creasy Jr. in the near lane, number 15 qualifier. 173.6 from Tony Pedragon, a 175.8 for Dale Creasy Jr. Tony Pedragon up to number 9, Dale Creasy up to number 14. Our next pair, number 11 qualifier, Mello in the near lane, or far lane. Number 10 qualifier, Eric in the near lane. Can they improve? 173 flat for Mello, 173.5 for Eric. Eric will stay 10th. Mello goes up to number 8. Our next pair, now number 9 qualifier, Helladic in the far lane. Number 7 qualifier, Sinister in the near lane. 171.3 for Helladic and a 172.6 for Sinister. Helladic up to number 2. Mello down to number 8. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Cruz Pedragon in the far lane. Number 6 qualifier, Fisher in the near lane. 170 with an 8 for Fisher, and 171.9 for Cruz Pedragon. Fisher up to number 2. Cruz Pedragon stays number 7. Our next pair, number 6 qualifier, Maya in the far lane. Number 5 qualifier, Melon in the near lane. 170 with a 6. Maya's going to go to the top, number 1. A 171-2 for Melon. Maya goes straight to the top, number 1. Melon up to number 4 in our final pair. They were 1 and 2 to start the session. Now number 6 qualifier, West in the far lane. Number 2 qualifier, Harley in the near lane. Can Harley take her spot back? No, but she will go number 2. 170 with the 4 for West. He will go to number 1 spot. Harley has a 170 with 5. So finishing out qualifying, West goes number 1 with a 170 with a 4. Followed by Harley, Maya, Fisher, Melon, Halidic, Cruz Pedregon, and Sinister rounding out the top half of the field. The bottom half, Melon, followed by Eric, Tony Pedregon, Thunder, Frank Pedregon, or Jimmy Pedregon, my bad. Dale Creasy Jr., Robert Hine, and Jim Appler on the bump again with a 176-3. Currently not qualified. Outside looking in, we got John Forrest, Scoop Ricardo, Dale Worsham, there's Frank Pedregon, Courtney Forrest, Bob Gilbertson, Matt Hagan, Tony Bartone, Tommy Johnson Jr. Top field, session 2, next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Winternationals. It's time for top field qualifying session 2. Up first, we have number 22 qualifier Austin Prock in the far lane. Number 21 qualifier Leah Pruitt in the near lane. Antron Brown on the bump with a 189.5. $195.5 for Austin Brock and a $198.5 for Leah Pruitt. Our next pair, as Austin Brock and Leah Pruitt switch spots, 21st and 22nd, they stay there. Our next pair, number 20 qualifier Brittany Force in the far lane. Number 19 qualifier Morgan Lucas in the near lane. Antron Brown with his 189.5, still on the bump. 190 with an 8 for Morgan Lucas and 191.4 for Brittany Force. They will not get in the show. Morgan Lucas goes up to number 18. Brittany Force stays 20. Up next, a number 19 qualifier, Sean Langan in the far lane. Number 17 qualifier, Rhonda Harmon Smith in the near lane. Can anyone knock Antron Brown out and get into the show? 190 with a 1 for Rhonda Harmon Smith. A 188.7 for Sean Langdon. He will. Rhonda Harmon Smith goes up to down to number 18. Sean Langdon gets in on the bump. Now number 16 with a 188.7. Our next pair is Antron Brown, number 17 qualifier in the far lane. Harley, number 15 qualifier in the near lane. Can Antron get back in? $190 with an 8 for Harley, 192.8 for Antron Brown. That would be a no. Antron Brown will stay 17th. Harley will stay 15th. Our next pair, number 14 qualifier Kenny Bernstein in the far lane. Number 13 qualifier Larry Dixon in the near lane. Dixon a 181.4. Kenny Bernstein a 188.2. Kenny Bernstein stays number 14. Larry Dixon up to number 4. Our next pair, number 13 qualifier Bones in the far lane. Number 12 qualifier Doug Coletta in the near lane. Can they improve? 185.7 for Bones and a 185.8 for Doug Coletta. Bones improves to the number 9 spot. Doug Coletta moves up to the number 10 spot. Our next pair, number 13 qualifier Ginger in the far lane. Number 12 qualifier Mike Dunn in the near lane. Can these two improve? 183.5 for Mike Dunn, a 186.2 for Ginger. Ginger improved this time by 4,000ths of a second, but will stay 13th. Mike Dunn up to number 5. Our next pair, number 12 qualifier, Corey McClendon in the far lane. Number 10 qualifier, or number 9 qualifier, Tony Schumacher in the near lane. 185.1 for Schumacher and 187.4 for Corey Mack. Corey Mack stays number 12. Tony Schumacher up to number 7. Our next pair, number 9 qualifier, Thunder in the far lane. Our 8 qualifier, Clay Millican in the near lane. This would be a round 1 matchup in eliminations. 185.6 for Thunder, 184.2 for Clay Millican. Thunder will stay 9th. Clay Millican goes up to number 6. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Gary Selzy in the far lane. Number 3 qualifier, Brandon Bernstein in the near lane. Brandon Bernstein still on a good run, a 180 with a 3. A 198.5 for Selzy. Gary Selzy will stay 6. Brandon Bernstein up to number 2. And our final pair, number 3 qualifier, Joe Motto in the far lane. Number 1 qualifier, Melanie Troxel in the near lane. Good run, a 178.2 for Melanie Troxel. A 180 with a 2 for Joe Motto. Joe Motto go back to number 2. Troxel stays number 1. Melanie Troxel stays number 1. Motto stays 2. Here's your current top fuel field after 2 sessions of qualifying. Troxel number 1 now with a 178 with a 2. 178.2. Followed by Joe Motto, Brandon Bernstein, Larry Dixon, Mike Dunn, Clay Millican, Gary Selzy, and Tony Schumacher. Your bottom half of the field. Number 9, Thunder, followed by Bones, Del Worsham, Corey Mack, Ginger, Kenny Bernstein, Harley, and Sean Lang get on the bump with a 188.7. Currently not qualified outside looking in. You got Antron Brown, Rhonda Harmon Smith, Morgan Lucas, Brittany Forrest, Austin Prock, and Leah Pruitt. When we come back, session 3 next. Pro Stock will start.